This narrated set of notes serves as an introduction to the highlights for Week 8, Session 3. Here are the major themes for Module 8, Session 3. Conditional formatting and functions, summarizing data using COUNTIF, SUMIF, and AVERAGEIF functions. Review the visual overview on conditional formatting and functions before starting. Decisions are made by evaluating data. However, this becomes complex when large quantities of data or dynamic data are involved. In these instances, conditional formatting can be a useful tool to help with your decision-making. Conditional formatting is designed to make searching a data range both simple and efficient. Applying conditional formatting changes the cell's formatting when its contents match a specified criteria. It can be used to highlight cells based on their values, which we did in Module 2 with conditional formats. They can be used for adding data bars that graph relative values in a range. We did this in Module 4 when we added data bars and spark lines to help visualize data. In this module, we will highlight duplicate values in a column of data. Highlighting duplicate values. Excel is often used to manage lists of data, such as employee information, inventories, or phone numbers. Some of the data is unique for each record, such as the employee ID, or a social security number, or a student ID. These are called key fields and must be unique. One way to identify unintended duplicate entries for key fields is to use conditional formatting to highlight duplicate values in the range with a font or fill color. In Session 3, you apply conditional formatting to highlight unintended duplicate values, such as the two we see here for the employee ID. This should be a unique value for each employee. In Conditional Formatting Rules Manager, this will specify the type of condition, the type of formatting when that condition occurs, and the cell or range the formatting is applied to. Using the Conditional Formatting Rules Manager dialog box is an easy way to edit existing conditional formatting rules. Examples of these are displayed graphically in Figure 8.36 and 8.37 on page 511 in your textbook. I suggest you review them before continuing in the lab. The other major features in Session 8.3 are the COUNTIF, SUMIF, and AVERAGEIF functions used to calculate a conditional count, sum, or average based on only the cells that meet a particular criteria. Using the COUNTIF function, you can calculate the number of cells in a range that matches a specific criteria. This is sometimes referred to as a conditional count. Here is the syntax. COUNTIF with two arguments, one for the range, one for the criteria. Here is an example that I use in my spreadsheets for my face-to-face classes. When I need to count the number of absences a student has, we see the range here for a row or a record in my spreadsheet for the student in the second row from cell B3 through P3, looking for the match of a capital A being in the attendance spreadsheet. Here are a few examples from your textbook of using the COUNTIF that demonstrates using different types of criteria. The first one, we're searching for the employees who work at the Bonham store. In the second one, we're looking for all employees who work in the Graham store. The third one checks for values less than 50,000. So here we're searching for our employees who earn less than $50,000 per year. And the last one is looking for employees with salaries greater than or equal to the value in cell J2, which in our textbook example is $106,010. Using functions to summarize data. A useful tool is the SUMIF function when we want to add values in a range that meet a specific criteria. This is frequently referred to as a conditional sum. Here is the syntax. SUMIF, identify the range, then the second argument identifies the criteria. So we'll be searching through that range, trying to match the criteria. The third argument is optional. Let's clarify the difference between the two of the first and third arguments. The first argument is the range of values you're comparing one by one to the criteria. For example, in the 8.3 session, you will be summing all of the employees' salaries from a particular store. The lookup range, argument 1, will be the store the employee's work location. The sum range will be the column that contains the actual salary data that you will be adding up if they work for that particular store. You can do this as well using average if, and it's similar to SUMIF, except at this point we would be computing the average for the average range. If you have any questions regarding the conditional formatting or the summaries, please post these to the class forum.